Hyperindependence is a trauma response. Hyperindependence is a trauma response. Being overly independent is a trauma response.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. Okay, so this video is the part 2 video of the hyper independent, but in this part we're going to be talking in the form of family dynamic, how this kind of affects us and how family traumas has led on to some of us being very hyper independent. I already did a video of hyper independent, the way it reflects on relationships. So if you haven't seen that video, go check out that video so you join in that other conversation. But this one, we're going to see the dynamic hyper independent played in the family and how family trauma reflects on people that are hyper independent. I can't even talk. Anyway, guys, I have a lot to unpack on this video, my own personal story and trauma and my own hyper independent story. So you guys want to watch to the end, which I'm going to share my thought. But let's go check it out. And then first we're going to hear a sister that kind of break down some hyper independent stuff. Then we're going to dive directly into the video. But let's go check out this video. Then we'll come back and talk more. But let me know your thought about hyper independent and what do you think stems from it and what family trauma stems from it. That. Anyway, guys, let's go check out this video, then we'll come back and talk more.
Hyperindependence is a trauma response. Hyperindependence is a trauma response. Being overly independent is a trauma response. Not knowing how to ask someone for help or being uncomfortable asking someone for help is a trauma response. Yes, being unwilling or unable to accept help is a trauma response. Doing everything on your own is a trauma response. Going out of your way to prove that you don't need nobody is a trauma response. Being overly self-sufficient is a trauma response. Being strong 100% of the time, trauma response. Not accepting assistance in areas that you have no expertise in, trauma response. Willingly taking the chance to mess something up opposed to getting assistance from someone who knows what they're doing, that's a trauma response. Most of my clients are Black women, and a lot of them are hyper-independent and find it hard to accept help from other people, even the people that they say they want to date. My suggestion is get into the root of what's causing this so you can fix that, because we all need some help from someone. If you need some assistance with this, the link is in my bio to book a session. Be blessed.
I know you struggle with letting people love you, letting people help you, feeling like you can run to people in your times of need, feeling like a burden when you feel like you don't have anything to offer, not speaking up for the things you need, but instead going without, suffering in silence, going through isolating behaviors where nobody knows that you're going through anything at all. You deserve assistance, love, empathy, kindness, support. You're also deserving of being a burden sometimes. On the days where you don't feel like Superwoman or Superman, you still deserve to be looked after as though you're the one who needs to be saved. And your hyper independence pushes people away instead of bringing them closer. When people ask you, do you need anything? You say no. And then when people don't ask you and they just do the thing, you overthink them. You never stop trying to repay them. Sometimes people do things for you just to be kind, just because you deserve it. And you don't have to pay them back. You don't have to praise them for it. They will never hold it over your head. They're just simply being kind to you because you deserve kindness. And yet you question all the kindness people do for you because you think you have to do everything on your own, and you don't.
TikTok yesterday of this woman saying that hyper independence is a trauma response to continuously being let down. And I'm like, yeah, of course it is. But on top of this, I feel like if you looked at people that have hyper independence and you look at the relationship with their parents, they probably don't have a very good relationship with their parents. And I think it's not just being let down, it's being let down, but then not having anyone that they deem safe. When you don't have a safe person or safe people, similar to what parents would be, then you're basically, it's like you're out on the ocean without a raft. You're just floating, like you're on your own. And I genuinely believe that people are required to have at least 1 or 2 people that they deem safe in order to function normally in society. Yeah. Otherwise, they're just gonna live a life of just beyond just let down. They're gonna live a life of just figuring everything out on their own and taking on way too much than more than one person should really be able to take on. And when you're supposed to be focusing on certain aspects of your own development, you're unable to focus on those aspects because you're so focused on survival. And having a safe person or persons like a family would allow that survival piece to no longer be a problem. And the thing about people who are hyper independent, I don't think most of them want to be. I mean, I'm certainly hyper independent, and I handle most things myself because I know that I won't mess things up, and I don't really rely on other people because, first of all, I don't know if they'll handle situations correctly, but on top of that, I don't want to put my anybody else because also they could leave. So why would I burden someone with my stuff and trust somebody with my most vulnerable shit when there's no guarantee that they're going to stay, that they could bail or they could use it against me or they could think less of me? Like, no, I'd rather just deal with things on my own and then just have my cute, fun, friendships. Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, I think people who are hyper independent are also always looking for proof that they were right. And I do this too. I can't help it, but I don't really ask a lot of the people around me, specifically because I'm hyper independent. But the few times that I have really needed people and they don't show up, in my head I'm like, and this is why we're hyper independent. This is why we don't ask anything of anybody. This is why we don't open up about how we're feeling or cry in front of other people or do any of it, because the proof is right there. Like, why would I put myself more in a vulnerable position when this is how things happen? You know what I mean? And I don't want to speak for everyone, but I have to imagine a lot of people that are hyper independent and that don't have good relationships with their parents, they probably put a lot of value on their romantic relationships, and they're probably looking for their romantic partner. Yeah. I don't mean a romantic partner, I mean the romantic partner. And I would be willing to guess it's because they want that thing that I described at the beginning of this video, that one person safety, that one person who you can just look at each other and they get it. Yeah. They know all your stuff and you trust them inherently and they get it. And then if you're having, a night out with people, at the end of the night, everyone else leaves and it's just you and them and you're like, it's just us. And the thing is, I'm so sick of people saying, romantic love isn't everything. Like, you have your friends for that. He. I'm like, that's the same thing as me saying to you, family isn't everything. You have your friends for that. If I said that to you, you would say, you're fucking crazy because you can't replace family. Family is different. I know, but guess what? People who don't have a family can't replace their family. I can't go out and get a new mom. Yeah. Okay? So the best thing that I can do, the closest thing that I can do is romantic love. And finding my partner would give me that familial type of love that I do not have. Yeah. I wish people could understand that. It's not as simple as like, I want a boyfriend. No, I don't want a boyfriend. I want to start my own family because I don't have a family. And I just wish people would understand this. People who are hyper independent don't want to be. They are out of necessity. I'm very frustrated this week. I had my heart shat on 10,000 ways by someone that I thought I trusted Monday night. It's Valentine's Day. I'm 34 years old. I live in Paris and I'm so happy. Living in Paris is my dream. And I've lost a bunch of weight and I've upgraded my apartment recently. I redid my whole painting wall and it's looking real cute in there. But then I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm skinny and my apartment's cute and I'm in Paris, but I'm unfulfilled. What do you do? Because part of me is like, do we move countries? And then I'm like, be serious, Amanda, you're not moving anywhere. And then I'm like, do I take a solo trip? No, you don't like traveling by yourself, Amanda. All right, do I get a dog? No, you barely like your cats. Just kidding, I love them. But the restlessness is restlessing. So I'm just gonna go for a run. But I don't know, dude, if you feel me, if you're in a similar boat to me, again, anytime I make one of these videos, which is rare, where I talk about this stuff, I say it every time, at least you're not alone. It doesn't get better, but you learn how to deal with it better. Or do you? I don't know.
I know you struggle with letting people love you, letting people help you.
Hyperindependence is a trauma response to not getting your needs met at some time when you truly needed somebody. Hey, Wallflowers, my name is Dr. Nichelle Wall. I'm a licensed mental health professional as well as a certified sex therapist. And today is Work It Out Wednesday, where we come together to get our lives together. Now, I think this is an important topic to discuss because a lot of people have this tendency to say, I don't need anybody. I don't want anybody to help me. But in all honesty, people really do need a community. We really do need people surrounding us and helping us and supporting us. Now, that's not to say that we haven't been burned. It's not to say that we have not had people not show up for us or disappoint us. But we have to also realize that we can't do it all by ourselves. Or if we are going to do it all by ourselves, realize the extent and the cost that is going to have on your life, as well as your psyche, the energy, your spirit, whatever you want to call it. So this week, what I really want us to focus on is identifying those people that you can trust and what you can trust with them. Because realize everybody's not going to do it the way you do it, and they may not have the capacity to show up for you in the way that you desire, but they can take some of the load off. Okay? Think about that. Chew on that. And I'll see y'all next week. Have a good day.
I saw a TikTok yesterday of this woman saying that hyper independence is a trauma response.
Okay, definitely go back, watch the video. Okay? Great points, great points. Now, hear me out. Check me out. What if there's something else? So look, she goes on to say that hyper independence trauma response. Get it, got it, totally understand that. Then she goes on to say, well, many don't have a good relationship with their parents, and their parents are not their safe space, so they don't feel like they can, ask for the help. Unreliable parents. Great. Got it. What if, just hear me out, what if your hyper independence comes from it being loaded? Like, you ask for the help because you have the parents, and your relationship with your parents is like, okay, it's not great, but it's okay. But it comes with something. Like, yeah, I'll help you, but. Or they throw it back in your face when you don't want to help them. Like, it's loaded. The help comes with some sort of stipulation. The help comes with some sort of pro quo. So what if that is the reason for your hyper independence?
Could be.
What? That could be a thing, right? That could be a thing.
Independence is a trauma response to continuously being let down.
Honestly, I feel you, girl. I've kind of known that I've been hyper independent, but it's really just more recently, like probably this week, that I've heard other people like coin that term or use that term in like, everyday language. But yeah, I too am hyper independent, and I have been for a very long time. I want to say since I was like 12 years old. And probably most hyper independent people have had to learn this lesson very early in their childhood. And of course it's a trauma response. Of course it is. It's not a shocking discovery. But what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? You've never felt safe even in your own home, especially with people that you're supposed to, that was supposed to cover you.
Yeah.
It's supposed to cover you and support you and be your first cheerleader. But instead they're your first bullies. And you can't escape.
Yeah.
You can't escape. I distinctly remember this one time, the only place in the house that I felt safe was literally in my closet. I was hiding in the closet. And I'm not queer, I'm not gay or anything like that. I just thought it was like really interesting that I literally was hiding in my closet. And I had like a little flashlight, and I would like bring my magazines in there. I had a little stereo and like my books in there, and I would just like, I literally had to like create a little like den, a little, kind of like a puppy in a crate. So, yeah, it's a trauma response, 100%. But it is what it is. It's hard out here. You can't trust anyone. No one feels safe. And honestly, if you get like even a handful of friends that can give you good vibes, stick with them.
Yeah. Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. I'd love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section, but please keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we are allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way, so feel free to share your opinion. So I really like this conversation about hyper independent in reflection of family and how it trickles down into even our relationship and our day-to-day life. I spoke more about the relationship one in the other video, so go check it out so you get full context. But please go down in the comment section and share your thought, but please keep it respectful. Here on this channel we are allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So one thing I always say here is that whatever trauma most of us have, even though some of the trauma can be as adult, you get it as an adult and all that. Most of the trauma most of us have, and most of the persons we are today and reflect is based on our childhood and the environment we were raised in, and even who our parents and the relationship with our parents are. And those of us that are hyper independent, it's really like, it is a good thing. It has its pros and it also has its cons. I feel like it's a two-edged sword. I feel like it's a two-edged sword, but I feel like when you are healing, you understand that, like I said in the other video, I found out that my therapist called it perfectionist. And I think after a couple of sessions, she was like, definitely, you're hyper independent too. Like, yeah, you are. And there's one thing I have come to realize is that everybody around me doesn't check up on me. Nobody check up and see if I'm okay. And that's because I have come up with this facade. It's not a facade. I am so hyper independent that I come off like I am okay, even when sometimes I break down and cry like every normal person do when things are bad. I break down and cry, but the truth is that nobody. And I remember I having this conversation with my friend. And she was like, you know what? You're always okay. You're always going to be okay. Nothing gets to you. And I'm like, it's not as if nothing gets to me. It's because I can't allow anything to get to me, because the only person I have is me. And my bestie will always say this thing, or there's something I always say most of the time when I'm going through that breakdown. And that's what I love. I love her so much. I always say, like, I don't have anybody, even though I have a big family. I'm from a big family. I still have my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sister. But every single time, it always feels like I am alone doing life by myself. And it sucks. And I feel like it stems up from the hyper independent that I have been. And I remember having this conversation with my mom a couple of years ago when we were unpacking some of our traumas. And I told her this thing that, I don't know why I'm having what 3 eyes now. There's this thing I always say to her when I was much younger. And I feel that also actually just really built my mind. I know my mom watches on my video, but she's going to remember. I always tell her that there are some of her children that she gave birth to through vulva, while there are some of her children that she just threw up. And in this parable I put, it means that the children she birthed by a vagina, like by a vulva, okay, like I said, the children she birthed by a vulva are more important to her because she went through the pain, she went through everything. But the ones which is me, that she literally speak is our issues don't bother her, because I felt growing up my mom didn't really care about me. And that was how I felt. I felt like nothing about me really bothers my mom, like nothing. My mom feel like I should be able to figure it out and all that. And I feel like that just really stems up. And I feel like from a young child, I already reflected be very hyper independent, and that reflected on even how my dynamic with my mom eventually as growing up as a young adult, as a young woman, kind of reflect. And I told her that, and my mom said something to me that, you are one child I never had to worry about. And that was why growing up as a young woman, it came off like she didn't care. But that is not as if she didn't care. It was because she felt like my other siblings needed more of our attention than me, and that I've always taken care of myself. I've always been good. I've always stand strong. Even as a baby, she said, even as a baby, you give me the bottle and I pull the bottle and I hold the bottle myself. And that because of that, she never worries for me. And I don't know, I'm tearing up. She never have to worry about me. Like, fuck it up. I don't care. I cry. Yes, so what? We're breaking their walls. We're breaking their generation. Because we can be vulnerable. Okay. So she said that that's one reason she has never really felt the need. And I know truly my mom really loves me. But even to date, my mom never have to worry about me because she knows I got it. Because she knows I am so hyper independent. Like if I call my mom now, literally crying, she will panic. Most times, my mom doesn't panic. If I tell her, oh, something, my mom will like, okay. If I tell my mom, this thing hurts me, this thing is pain, like physically I'm hurt, my mom is worried because she knows normally I won't come off to say something is hurting me. So if I say something is hurting me, something pains me so much, I'm in pain, then my mom know like then this is serious. So yeah, it has its two-edged sword, and it comes across sometimes and really feels really lonely when you're hyper independent. I know it, even as someone that is married and for 10 years, been with my partner for 20 years. Yes, it still gets really lonely when you're hyper independent. But one thing, like everybody's talking, was the solution because it is a trauma response to be hyper independent, and I am still very, very hyper independent. Like, yes, I'm working on it, trying to be relaxed and let things and don't be always on top of things and try to not. Yes, I have trust issues. Try to have little trust, believe in people. But it's really sad when most times you really have trust in people. Like the few selected people you have trust in, they are just going to let you down. I know I'm just rambling, and yes, probably let's just take this as one of my therapy section with you guys. Because this video really resonates so much with me. I know that, like, yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end this video here. Go ahead and share your own thoughts, share your own story. Love to know your own story. Feel free to share it, okay? I love really sharing my stories with you guys. And yeah. So go down and share your own story down in the comment section. Love to read from you guys as always. So feel free to share your opinion, but please keep it respectful. You're on this channel. We're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So feel free to share your opinion. Please go ahead and share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video so that somebody can join in the conversation, so that you can help somebody process their emotions, because some people don't even understand that they are hyper independent. Like I didn't understand for a long time. So go ahead and share this video, okay? Please give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and supporting this girl. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.